Right, welcome back. Project Bandit 36, I think. Blurring in now. Okay, this has all gone firm as it needs to be now. Loads of comments, loads of interest in this. A lot of the comments are on the fact that I've done this wrong or that wrong or the other wrong. Yep, I know. Obviously, I'm always going to do something wrong, but it's what I'm doing, and it'll work. I'll make it work. The important thing with this project from the start has been to just go with the flow and roll with it and make it up as I go along. I'm not really interested in whether something's proper or correct, and most importantly than anything else,
it's a rat bite.
It's a rat bite, and it will be raggedy. I could have done things better. Yes, I could have some acetone to clean my brushes. Yes, I could wear a mask when I do fiberglassing, but I like the smell. There are lots of things I could have done better or could do better, but it's a rat bite, and it's just going to be what it is. Now, this one's proper laying up of fiberglass tonight. I'm just going to cover that on the outside. Come on in, Ben. I'm just going to cover it on the outside with a layer of fiberglass. That's all. I've decided what I'm going to do with this, because this skeletal look is fantastic. I love it. I could have gone other places with it. I could do the tank very easily in the same effect, obviously front fairing, but the most important thing with this is that we're entered into the custom show under best rat, or entered in under the rat bike section of Brightona Bike Show in 10 days. So this is no good. This was going to be the start of a long-term project, and as I said to you some time ago, I set aside 3 months for this, and here I am 3 months later and it's still only this bit. So I've not got time to do the rest, and the rest has got scrim and it's matte black and chains and all the rest of it still. So the thinking is, for the purposes of the show, I'm just going to fiberglass this. Just going to put a layer of matting over it and fiberglass it on and give it a couple of nights to dry, and then I'm going to scrim it. And that's this stuff. You've all seen this stuff. This is the old NATO Army scrim net, which is what's on the rest of the bike. Now the great thing with this stuff is it's stretchy. It stretches in all directions. It's incredibly giving and forgiving. There's a receipt there, Ben. And we just literally had that delivered 2 days ago. So that's here now, and that will be used for the final finish. So, and that will beautifully go over that. It dobs in nicely. The proof of it is on the face mask on the front of the bike. If you look at that, kind of look. When we look at the face on here, the way the scrim's netted in around all the features, and that wasn't difficult at all. Just spray glue and just push it on, and it all goes in and sticks because it's cotton and it grips it even up under the chin. It's all there. So that gives me the thought that I'm going to do the same on the rear. What I'm going to do is a thin layer of lightweight matte. I was going to use this heavyweight. My good friend Jeff sent me a great big quantity of heavyweight matting. I want to say thanks as well, just quickly, to you boys that told me that this stuff is just woven fiberglass matting, the kind of stuff that Kevlar, being a trade name like Levi's and Fairy Liquid and so on, it's a form of Kevlar, if you like. It's the same sort of thing, a glass matting. But the problem with it is, I've looked into it and I've studied it, is when you're trying to daub that in between all these little nooks and crannies, it's not going to work. It's going to be too thick, and it's just going to stand up and prevent the depth of sculpture look that I want. So that's the wrong product for this, and I will be using it for something else in the future. That matting is a little hefty for what I need, so I've got some of this, which I've had forever and ever. This is just a super lightweight matting. One of you will probably tell me it's a so-and-so gram of matting, but the beauty of that stuff is it's so thin, it will still give me the strength I want. It will go over the back. I'll be able to daub that in with fiberglass resin, which I've got plenty of, but it won't soak up too much because the matting, it's the scrim itself, being cotton, is very thick, and once that's resined in, it will be so solid, it will be damn near bulletproof. And if you want the proof of that, I've done this a few times in the old tank. It is absolutely bulletproof. But you can't do that.
That's my bike.
Sorry, wrong bike. You're so cheeky. So tonight is just about get some fiberglass over the outside. I kind of normally, don't you do this? I like to do the stuff that you don't see first. Get all the underside out of the way, and then I can enjoy the outside. But the problem is that the underside, this is what this cloth is stuck to. So if I load up more stuff on the underside, it's pointless. The most crucial thing now is to get something on the outside to stabilise and sandwich the frame in. So tonight is dobbage, resinage and matting. And we're going to try and make this into effectively one piece. Covered it all up. I hope you like that. Much better idea. Makes the light look a bit better. And that's more what I had in mind when I first set out. So enough waffle. Stick around, teacher. Let's crack on. Right. I've had this forever and ever. £2.99. Oh, years ago I bought this. I never opened it. So it always pays to keep stuff because you will use it again. And although it's a very light grade matting, I just use 2 or 3 of them instead of one heavyweight grade because I want this lovely fine weave. I want it to thicken up but give the strength. There's plenty of it. I think I did a wing on a car with that other bit. I'll save that actually because it's a bit manky, that bit. So in case I run out. So what I'm going to do with this, just to get started, is cut it into strips and squares so that I can pick it up a bit at a time. Because you can't just dub that on like that and then have all the excess. It's just a waste. I'm actually going to cut it up into the squares where the folds are and just go with it. Stick it on a bit at a time. I'm sure that some of you body guys will write and tell me it's the wrong way, but hey, it's a rat bite. Now, it doesn't hurt to cut this up if you've not done this before, because once it gets resined it all joins into one. It's just a nightmare trying to use big pieces. But it's just important as well to say that the scrim isn't a step backwards. I know that I could have probably gone another way. It would be good to have done it in a more creative manner, perhaps done something a little bit more unique, and the scrim's a bit old hat, but you know,
it's already October.
It is only October already. The show's only around the corner and we've entered it in. We've kind of made a bit of a rod for our own back there, purely because the tail unit won't match unless I match it to the rest of the bike. So I may as well, for this season, just scrim the back end, match it in, as several people have suggested, and just be done with it and be happy with it.
It's hot now, but the weather will change in a minute.
It is. It's 20 degrees tonight, sort of 69, nearly 70 degrees tonight, and it's upper state at night. You know, once the weather comes and changes, I'll be using this for the winter. In the new year, this will get probably pulled off the road again, ripped apart. I'll do the front end and do something mad with the tank. So that's all that lot prepared, nicely prepared. I think that'd be enough for the whole outer coating. The inner coating can be the thicker stuff. It doesn't matter. And yes, I know I should be wearing a mask when I'm doing this, but I'm not. So hey.
I've got the door open.
Yeah, the door's open. There you are. I can up the quantity because I'm going to try and pressure it quicker. That will soak a lot more of it up as well. 20 minutes. What's it now? 8:45. Right. And this is where you start to cover up all your hard work. But hey, it's worth it. Now using this thinner stuff is just more forgiving. and it's going to give a nicer finish, a little bit closer to the showing off the frame rails, which is kind of what it's all about. But underneath the seat here, it's not so important because you're not going to see it. It's going to get foam over it.
NATO foam.
Not
I
only, but
ordered.
also. Oh, I see, NATO foam as opposed to Warsaw packed foam. Or do you mean tightly packed foam?
SAS foam.
SAS
apparently.
foam. It's got a flick knife and everything. Just got to beat the air out of it. It's not so important either if the brush goes stiff on this because it daubs better. It's a better dauber.
We should leave you to daubing.
Yes, leave me to daubing. I'll daub a bit more. Join me in a minute. It is quite a painstaking process, you sort of poking it all in, but very, very rewarding in a kind of OCD way as you drip fiberglass resin down your bike.
It's a rat bike.
It's a rat bike.
Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter.
It does a bit. Need to look
I was
too
only
shit.
joking. I was joking.
Right. It's getting the air bubbles out as well. Kind of when you start doing it, there is a little bit more to it. You're just slapping it on. Getting the air out is quite challenging on this light stuff. Coming on, it's amazing how it's sunk on, but that will be mega strong now in both senses, and it also shows how important it was to have that skin underneath, because it would have just sunk straight through. There's no way you could have done that as it is. Just putting these extra bits on just for strength. Does it smell nice, Ben?
Try not to breathe. My dauber's getting stiff now. It's definitely daubing better. That looks like an evil face from here.
Does it?
Uh-huh.
Talk about your mother and all like that.
Right. The computer's just about to die.
There we go. So now harden off and then just carve it out with a Stanley. Someone will probably tell me there's a formula for the correct amount of resin to the correct amount of
If
matting.
in doubt, just daub it on.
If in doubt, pour it on. Which it could be brittle. and that means it might crack. Oh no!
You don't want it to look messy, do you?
No. Heaven forbid.
I won't want to be seen out with you.
You don't anyway. Right. Well, this about concludes the Dome of Doom. And all these little hairs that you just can't help have sticking up on this super fine stuff. Oh, I think even on the other stuff, the coarse stuff, you get bits of it poking out. But it's easy enough just to, you know, sand them off with a whiz over with the old Scotch-Brite. Just breaks them all off, smooths them out. And the great thing with using scrim, this stuff's brilliant. It just covers everything up, and then it will get drowned in blackboard paint with a brush, so the final effect will be way less sharp looking than this. It'll be a lot smoother, but hopefully still maintain the spider web feel if I can, because I want to carry it on in the future when I do the rest. Of course, the other thing is I don't really need to put too much scrim on this fiberglass, because the scrim is incredibly reinforcing, and I do intend to resin that in. Not so much soak it, because it will become very sharp, but I will soak this in resin and stick the scrim to the resin, so it will be absolutely permanent. And you can see how that stuff goes. You won't be needing loads of this. There we are. Just popped an extra couple of layers of matting in on the seat area where I'm going to be sitting, just for strength really, because just so it doesn't push through. Give it that little bit extra. Oops. Don't brush. There we go, that's all I can do for now. I've got one coat over the whole thing, or one layer of fiberglass over the whole thing, and 2 layers in the seat area, just to strengthen it up and give it that little bit of extra beef, and that should set quite nicely. I've got foam on the way, thick 10mm high density sealed cell foam, which will be perfect for the seat, a little bit like the GB bike stuff, which will just stick on and sculpt it over the rails, so where it touches the rails we'll just cut it so it sits over them neatly. That will be a good fun bit. And finally the scrim's going to be brilliant. Really looking forward to that, because the scrim covers up a multitude of sins. It really does. It looks great. See, you know, and it's just uniform. It looks great. And then of course finally will just be a big old thick layer of brushed on matte black paint from the old blackboard paint tin. So that will be good. That's it. Number 36. Getting ever closer. Thanks for tuning in to Watch Delboy's Garage. Thanks for all your comments, thanks for all your support, really appreciate it. Ride safe. See you next time.